Loneliness is one of the quietest pains of modern life. You can be surrounded by people, scrolling through thousands of faces online, and still feel unseen, unheard, and alone. Loneliness doesn't always come from being by yourself. It often comes from feeling disconnected, even in a crowd. The Stoics understood this ache. They lived in exile, lost loved ones, stood apart from the crowd, and endured the kind of solitude that would break many of us. But they discovered something powerful. Loneliness doesn't have to be emptiness. It can be a teacher. It can be strength. Take Seneca, for example. For years, he was exiled to a remote island, stripped of friends, power, and influence. Many would have crumbled in bitterness. Instead, Seneca used that time to reflect, to write, and to remind himself that peace comes not from company but from character. He said, "A wise man is never less alone than when he is alone." The Stoics weren't against companionship, they valued friendship deeply. But they warned against depending on others to fill the void within. True peace, they argued, comes when your happiness is not chained to the presence or absence of other people. For the Stoics, loneliness was not the absence of people, it was the absence of harmony within yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Men seek retreats for themselves, but the greatest retreat is to be found in your own mind." Solitude, then, is not punishment. It is an opportunity. An invitation to turn inward, to strengthen the soul, to build a peace that no absence can destroy. How can we apply this today? First, reframe solitude. Instead of seeing it as rejection, see it as opportunity. Time alone is time to grow. When you are by yourself, you have the space to reflect, to learn, to heal, to create. Second, strengthen self-sufficiency. A Stoic builds a life where peace doesn't collapse without constant company. Journaling, meditation, and reflection sharpen the soul. Even simple acts, reading, walking, sitting quietly, train you to find contentment within. Third, seek quality over quantity in relationships. The Stoics valued a few true friends over crowds of shallow ones. Seneca wrote often about friendship as a bond of virtue, not convenience. 100 acquaintances may still leave you lonely, but one friend of character can fill your heart with connection. Fourth, engage with the whole of humanity. Marcus reminded himself that he was part of the larger human family, the cosmopolis. Even when physically alone, you are never completely cut off. You belong to humanity itself. When you remember that, isolation feels less like exile and more like perspective. Fifth, serve beyond yourself. Loneliness shrinks when you shift your question from "Who notices me?" to "Whom can I help?" Service connects you with others in ways that shallow attention never can. A Stoic knows that giving purpose to another life gives purpose to your own. And there's another practice: accept the rhythm of nature. Marcus reminded himself that everything changes, everything passes. Loneliness, too, is not permanent. It's a season, a signal, not a life sentence. Seeing it this way prevents despair and makes it bearable. Think of how powerful this mindset is. Instead of being crushed by solitude, you begin to use it. Loneliness becomes training, training for patience, training for resilience, training for inner strength. You learn to carry yourself so well that when others do arrive, you meet them as a whole person, not a half searching for completion. The Stoics remind us that life is short. If that's true, why waste it chasing constant company, fearing silence, or dreading moments alone? Solitude is not an enemy. It's a mirror. It shows you who you are when no one is watching. And if you can make peace with that person, you can face anything. Loneliness can feel like a curse, but the Stoics turned it into a gift. It's in solitude that you meet yourself, shape your character, and discover a peace no crowd can give or take away. So the next time you feel alone, ask, am I really abandoned, or am I being invited to know myself more deeply? That answer may turn loneliness into strength. If this gave you perspective, tap subscribe and keep reflecting with us here at Stoic Principles. Because the more at peace you are with yourself, the less alone you will ever feel.